Now this is my sort of cooking. Everything you could possibly want in one dish. We've got my sweet potato, chicken, mushroom, kale, and a beautiful creamy sauce puff pastry pie. Now I love this type of recipe. It's kind of just everything in one pan, stick it in a bowl, put pastry on the top, whack it in the oven, and you've got a complete meal in one dish. So you're going to roughly chop 1 brown and red onion. And you're just going to introduce a little bit of oil to the pan, and you're just going to bring it up to heat. Now I've got a very small pinch here of some tarragon, pepper, salt, and some chopped rosemary. Just dried out, and just sprinkle that in. Just for a little bit of extra flavour amongst those onions. And you just have to sweat that down slightly, so just like a little bit of warmth going through there, not too hot. You want to get colour to the onions, you don't want to be really burning them. While that's browning off, we've got ourselves 3 good quality organic chicken breasts here. Chicken into little thin slithers. Now I don't like these to be too chunky, so nice little ribbon slithers are pretty perfect. So you've got a little bit of colour going through those onions now. So we're going to add our chicken into there. This is what I like about these type of dishes is you're making up the base for a meal anyway, so it's almost like a casserole. All we're doing is put the pastry on top for like a little bit of a treat. Think about it that you can have this 2 days in a row. So you cook it first of all with the pastry on for one night, and you use the excess stuff to have for the second night, or maybe for your lunch for the next day. So you're getting a little bit of colour to the chicken there. So we're going to introduce a little bit of alcohol to this. This is totally as optional as all my recipes. You can use white wine on here, it works really well. I'm just going to go in with a shot of brandy. Over here, we've got 8 or 9 chestnut mushrooms. We're just going to lightly slice them and chuck them straight in. We've got 3 cloves of crushed garlic. Stir that in. That's going to give it that beautiful flavour. Just the brandy and the garlic and the mushrooms on that works really, really well. Then you've almost got that tarragon-y type sauce just from that little bit of seasoning. Okay, so we're going to go in there with some chicken stock now. I've got 300 millilitres of chicken stock. Over here, we've got 100 grams creme fraiche. And finally, we've got a good teaspoon of whole grain mustard. And you can just leave that to simmer for around 7 to 8 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to peel and chop our sweet potato into tiny little cubes. Chuck it in the pan and let that simmer away for another 5 to 6 minutes, just until that's reduced slightly. Then we're going to thicken up that sauce. So, cold water, some spelt flour, a couple of tablespoons would do it. Give that a good mix round, and we're just going to use that just to thicken up our sauce itself. You can see there it's reduced by about 50%. You've got that lovely thick glazed sauce. So into a large bowl, we're just going to pour that in. See, this is what I love about this cooking. This is why I started the channel in the first place. Perfectly good, hearty, healthy food. So easy to do. Anyone could be making this. Now, we're going to put kale into this. Don't put the kale into the sauce first of all and stir it through. It overcooks, and when you come to serve it up, it will be really, really dark. Pop your kale in, give it a good push down, and you're just going to leave that to the side while we get on with our puff pastry. Right, beat an egg outside of your dish, and then we've got some puff pastry over here. So that can go straight on top, cut around the edge. You know that egg's going to hold it all in position anyway. Over here we've got our second section. You're going to cut the corners into diagonal shapes and then fold both sides into each other. You're going to lay that on top of the pie. Gloss that with a little bit of egg and into the oven at 180 Celsius for around 15 to 20 minutes until the puff pastry is ridden. Looks pretty good. It's a whole meal in a pie. Right, let's serve this one up. Decent bit of our puff pastry. A little bit of a taste test. See, that was the perfect balance of flavours. And you've got all that goodness in one dish. Half an hour's cooking time, and that is the perfect balanced dish. Now, if you do recreate this one, hashtag me as Haste Kitchen as always. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Cheers then, bye-bye.